Hello. Hi there. So, I wanted to talk about what's been going on in the beef and black sector of YouTube. And I've been privy to some dangerous YouTube games that have been played over the last several days. And I'm quite ambivalent about it, actually. So, here are the cast of characters. You have Jay Wilson, who is the main character. You have ZX, who is a supporting character. And there's quite a few other supporting characters. V. Lenore, properly bona fide. And it all started when Jay Wilson cussed out, I think, properly bona fide a few nights ago, several nights ago. And one thing led to another. Jay Wilson's place of employment got out. Deanna Irving posted it on her channel. And Mother's Day was hell out here in these YouTube streets. People began sending emails with links, video links of Jay Wilson performing fellatio. Not really, but pretty much he was roasting somebody and was teaching Claudiva, I guess, how to perform fellatio correctly. So they sent that video to his job. They sent videos of him cussing out women and calling them whores and dykes and all types of stuff. And by the way, I forgot to mention that Pastor Jay Wilson is a chaplain at a university hospital. Well, what's a chaplain, Madam Whip asked? A chaplain is the individual, the spiritual individual who, provides comfort to families in need when a loved one is sick and about to transition, and he goes and prays for them. Perhaps he performs the last rites before they go on and meet their maker. And it's a very important role that a chaplain plays. You have chaplains in prisons. You got chaplains here, chaplains there. These are very important people. And so if you have a chaplain, and Jay Wilson is one who has several ministerial degrees and all of that and things of that nature, you are expected to act as a chaplain whether you're at work or not. And your online behavior should also reflect that as a chaplain. Now, some people might disagree and say, well, work ain't got nothing to do with what he does online. And I beg to differ. Most jobs, I will agree that, what they do on, if you just making boxes all day, I don't think what you do online should matter. But when you are one of a stature who is given the responsibility and the authority to usher people into heaven, or at least try to get people there, I don't think you should be caught online using a microphone as a penis and, giving instructions on how to perform fellatio when you are a pastor/chaplain. And a man at that. So here's where my ambivalence comes in. I hate that people called first thing Monday morning The HR person or whoever is in charge at the university hospital said they have gotten many calls, so much so that it was interrupting their day and providing services to patients in need. Um, I hate to see anyone lose their job. I hate to see people uh, be instrumental in someone losing their job. I don't like to see it at all. But in this case, I think it's a little different. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy Jay Wilson, his commentary, his drags, and all that. He's very funny. Um, and, I, I just enjoy him like a lot of other people. But, I mean, if my loved one was on their deathbed, I would not want someone praying over them who don't mind performing fellatio. You got to watch these spirits. And you got patients there with tubes down their throat and things like that, and they on their way out, but wondering why they got this sudden urge to want to perform fellatio. That's because you got someone standing over you who performs fellatio. They never even had that thought of performing fellatio as a married man of 61 years and all this kind of things. And I'm sure they're confused on their way out. Lord, what is this about? This never crossed my mind. Why now? When I got one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel. You know what I mean? And so there's certain jobs like being a chaplain, like being a pastor, um, and several other important positions that you got to be careful of how you present yourself. There's positions, jobs, careers where, your life got to be a certain way when people are looking and when they ain't looking. And so it's a dangerous thing because, with the way the economy is going today, things are getting hard out here. Jay Wilson is a homeowner. And it could be a situation where he might not be able to find employment for a while, you know? And next thing you know, it's a domino effect. And now he's about to lose his home. All the few years he's been in there paying that mortgage and building up equity, and now it's going to disappear like a fart in the wind. And that could be a breaking point. And he could very well look at ZX for the cause of his financial demise. And, the devil can really jump in him and, start whispering murder, suicide. You just never know what could happen, what could arise out of situations like this. So I would just be very, very careful. And we cannot blame ZX and say, yeah, he's the sole individual responsible for Jay Wilson losing his job. And like he said, and he's right, we heard that woman say they received hundreds of calls and several emails. ZX was the only one who went live in the minute and said, yeah, I sent this one. And so, you leave yourself open for someone to make an example out of you. And then on that note, I would just be careful about, what I do to people because, look, I wouldn't be responsible for someone losing their job because I wouldn't want nobody to be responsible for me losing mine. And although One can be very innocent and be disliked because of their content and get doxxed, and you know, somebody can be responsible for them losing their job. Sorry, I got a little bit lost. And that wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be fair. But just have to be very careful. I've had, people call my job, and I've done absolutely nothing. Nothing. And you got people out here who have nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing. They don't even have a job to lose. They old and collecting disability checks. They old and collecting Social Security. They ain't got nothing to lose. They're old and collecting their husband's pension. They ain't got nothing to lose. What do you mean they old and collecting pensions? A lot of these people doing doxing in the beef sector are senior citizens. They ain't no young 20-something years old. These are fully grown adults who should know better. That's what's even more surprising to me, that these are old people doing this shit. Playing games like this. Old people with nothing better to do. A lot of them are old, retired ladies. And if you sitting around doxing people and doing these things, perhaps you should get up and go find you an old lady job. Volunteer or something. Go to our hospitals and sit around and hold babies. You know? Walk around, pick up the dirt in your neighborhood. Pick up the trash. Become a dog walker for your neighbors. Do something with your life. Because this is ridiculous. And bigger than that, if you're doing a lot of bull crap to people online, do you not realize you are closer to transitioning than you think? I mean, we know that tomorrow ain't promised to nobody, but if you in your 60s, it suffice to say, yeah, you're pretty close. And you doing stuff like this? These people have no care for their soul. No concern. Because they think, the internet ain't real. It ain't real life. You think that, what you do in real life matters to the Lord. But what you do on the internet, you can be just as wicked and evil as you want to be on the internet. And you just think there's no consequences for it. Not naturally or spiritually. And how deceived you are. Again, I hate that anybody would lose their job. If Jay Wilson was, I don't know, worked in the supermarket, I don't know, worked in the bank, I'd be 100% in disagreement of what happened. But yeah, he definitely plays a very and extremely important role in the lives of too many people on a daily basis to behave in such a manner. And that's no slight against him. That's no diss. That's just how I feel. I still like to hear him talk, you know, and wish he would reflect more and put things in priority. And so that's pretty much all I have to say at this particular point in time. And I hope that things can return to just roasting and dragging and just not taking stuff offline. You know, this really isn't a game. It's not. And, we just want to be careful about what we do because, already people may be ha 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 and he and sending you cash apps and stuff. But yeah, they waiting for the day where they can back you up in the corner so that they can jump out and get you. And when they do, the first thing they're gonna do is throw up in your face about what you did to Jay Wilson, how you got him fired, even though it wasn't solely you. You weren't the only one, but they're gonna live it out here in these YouTube streets like it was your email and your phone call that did it. Everybody else, they're invisible. But there is video proof that you definitely participated in it and you were the successful one. These people out here are vicious. And we just want to be careful. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. And although I feel that Jay Wilson should have been reported, I just wouldn't have been one to do it. I wouldn't have done it. And why? Because I knew somebody else would. And out here in these YouTube streets, for instance, there's this case I always think about. It happened in the early 60s in New York. Kitty Genovese. It was a white lady in Forest Hills. It's like 9 o'clock at night, New York City, Forest Hills. And long story short, she is being stabbed to death in the streets and she is screaming bloody murder and help. The whole block damn near heard this woman screaming, crying for help. And nobody called 911 because everybody thought somebody else is probably calling 911. And nobody called 911. That is never the case out here in these YouTube streets. Somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to call 911. Somebody's going to call your job. Somebody's going to send your job an email. Somebody's definitely going to do it. Rest assured. It'll never be a situation where somebody really needs to be reported and everybody says, oh, somebody else is going to do it. Yeah, somebody else is going to do it. 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 And nobody ever does it. No, not on the internet. That does not fly. Somebody definitely will do it. So you got demons out here now. They plotting and scheming. The very ones who are smiling in your face now and sending you cash apps. They plotting and scheming, honey. They plotting and scheming. And they're just waiting for their chance to jump. And all of a sudden it'll be for revenge for Jay Wilson. When you sit back and you spectate and you just watch all this stuff, you can always see things coming. All right. I think 20 minutes is long enough. Thank you for tuning in. And y'all be safe. Be safe. Be safe and walk good.